moment that the user did npm run dev, that's it. That's when it's done. You can go into WhatsApp, go to the number, and you can say like, hi, and it will reply back with hello, hi. And it will reply with hello, hi, because the source code here on the handlers says hello and whatever it got from WhatsApp. Okay, so in this case, it's called name, a key called name. Now, how does it work? What you get here on the source code? Basically, I'm not going to go over everything. I'm going to go over the two main components that you get, which is source and configs. Okay? Configs defines, those are the workflow definition. Those are defining the user experience within WhatsApp. Source is basically the integration. What will happen when Relay's runtime will ask for data or will push data to the agent, the integration that sits within one of our clients' infrastructure. Okay, so let's start with that. Oh, you know what? Let's start with the configurations. So the configurations, you have 4 main components. Okay, each one of them, you define them as a YAML, which hopefully down the road will become some sort of a workflow editor, a user interface, where you have a definition of an application or something that sits within the application, a specific function, or actually the correct word will be handler, which we defined as app action. And then we have a workflow, like something that collects all the steps that happens within specific business process that we automate in WhatsApp, and operation, which is a specific component within the workflow. Okay? I will dive deep in a minute. Now, let's say that we are creating a hello world app. This is exactly what the template is, right? In a different template or a different project, it will be Jira app or Twitter app or doesn't matter, SAP, SAP app, right? And we define here the base URL. That's the publicly available domain or IP address where we can reach the agent. This is how Relay knows where to send a request to. And
so this is like the API URL.
Exactly. Okay. The integration URL, yeah. And here we have a set of actions, right? So what does the application Hello World app can do? And it can do, it can run a function called Hello World, okay? And what is Hello World? If we go to the source code, to handlers, you see here, router use Hello World. Right, so there is a connection between this app action to a function here. So every time Relay makes a request to an action called Hello World, it will send information to the integration to this specific function. So this is an operation that sends data back to WhatsApp, okay? Basically what we are saying here is that I'm getting whatever, you see I'm sending here back to Relay's runtime, something called the message with this content. Now here I'm grabbing it. So I'm using like a prefix, I will get to it soon, and I'm grabbing the message, this message from the integration, and then sending it back to WhatsApp. Okay. Going back for a minute, we said we have apps and app actions, and we have this relation between the app action, hello world, right? We said here hello world, and whatever we send back here, we can then use it on the workflow, right? Like we said here. Okay? And then we have the workflows. And basically the workflow, we have two components to define a workflow. a workflow, type workflow, and then type operation. Type workflow, basically what it does is just telling Relay when to trigger a specific workflow. So, for example, exact match, there are multiple ways to trigger a workflow. And let's say input/search. Do you recognize that?
Yeah.
Right? This is where you can put an input. But I can also do, instead of exact match, I can also do like contains, and then send here an array of options. So /start and also /hello, right? And also like /hola.
Okay.
So I can also use, there are multiple functions that Relay provides out of the box. Match any, for example, is what you get when you do a record to CRM. You forward a message or a bunch of messages to Relay, and it doesn't matter what did you send, it will activate this workflow, right? Unless there is another workflow which is prioritized.
Okay.
Okay, so there are multiple functions, they're all described in documentations and how to use them, what their effects, and so on. Now, the moment we know which workflow to activate, that's the thing that allows us to activate multiple workflows that connect to multiple systems from the same number. We start to run operations. And we always, basically what Relay does, it runs an operation after the other, constantly an operation after the other. And there are a lot of things that we are doing behind the scene here, and I won't dive too deep into them because not important. But basically what we are doing is we are doing an operation after operation. And in each operation, we define the application and the specific app action, the specific function that we want to activate from that application. So let's say we have out-of-the-box Relay provides WhatsApp, right? But then I integrated SAP and HubSpot and I don't know, like my local home-built logistics software. And from that point onward, I can then, here on the app, I can select WhatsApp or SAP or HubSpot or my own custom logistics integration. And then from that point, I can select which function I want to activate within what application, right? So it's like a tree. I have all my applications, and each application have their own function. And to each function, I can then send a specific data that the function will process and return back the information for me. That allows us to have a system-agnostic system, right, for Relay. It doesn't matter what application you have or what app action, because you defined how this data will be processed on your end, so the integration part. But we constantly are able to transfer data between one point to another. We know how to send data back and forth to WhatsApp. We know how to customize it. We know how to store a specific state between all those applications. So we do like this this distributed in-memory management between all those applications. Right, so we have this system that allows the user to then just grab integrations, connect them, and then communicate with one another, right? So that's the workflow, basically.